The gentleman to my left has a story that he would like to share. Hold on, I'm going to move it like this. Let me speak loud because I don't have my earbud mic in yet.
All right. Well, basically, I'm here for the same fight for basic freedoms. And just to give you a hint about how the government works in different departments, my wife, who has a medical exemption for vaccines, has been denied an accommodation. And this even though the fact that she already has an accommodation based on the Charter of Human Rights. And as of yesterday, they've also had an official email saying any religious exemptions will be automatically denied. Her government department has 6,000 employees, 800 of which of them had asked for a religious exemption. Also, another 1,000 more have not indicated their vaccine status, which leads to think that they might be against vaccine mandates. Or not necessarily vaccine mandates, but at least vaccine passports.
Let me just picture. Can everyone hear what's going on in the chat? Let me know. What if I can ask what part of government your wife works in?
I don't want to put it in waters, but there's about 6,000 to 7,000 people in that department.
Provincial, not federal. Federal. Okay.
So when they're saying yes, they will be giving exemptions, the religious exemptions, or even medical exemptions, it's a front. That's basically the departments are saying no. They've actually disbanded the committees that are put in place to evaluate exemptions.
Well, I mean, look, anybody who hasn't seen the Trudeau soundbite, he said he was going to make it, I think he said onerous was what might have been the exact word, but extremely difficult to claim any exemption, even religious, which is a very interesting method of respecting the charter rights of freedom of religion, freedom of conscience.
Can I just add a bit of irony but sadness also? My wife is black. So she's basically a black, racist, misogynist, non-vaccinated person. I don't think she's extremist. She's very pro-rights. She's organized different things, even stuff in the government. So people have to open up their minds about people and the reasons why they're not vaccinated.
Well, it's I mean, everyone watching the channel, I mean, you've seen it also. They know. Look, we know the stats as to who is reluctant to get vaccinated for historical, religious reasons.
Exactly. There's a complete book on different ethnicities in different countries that have been victims of government decisions.
Is your wife from Quebec?
Yes. She's from Orleans. She lives now in Quebec. Yeah.
No, it's like it's reversed. So I got to keep it. There are demographics more reluctant to get vaccinated. The idea, I don't speak for them, and they haven't specifically mentioned this is why. Hey, how you doing?
Super chat for you and Robert.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. In-person super chats might become a thing. It's surreal. The world is surreal. But you don't ask people why they are not vaccinated. But historically, based on government atrocities, Tuskegee experiments, other. By the way, people don't know this, but during the residential schooling crisis, for which the Liberal government just apologized and handed out the biggest settlement in Canadian history, they were experimenting, medical experimentation on Indigenous children within the residential school system. A number of it. I mean, I've listened to a bunch of podcasts. I won't get into it because I don't, want to get into it here. A bunch of medical experiments, dietary experimentation, treating, not treating illness on the children within the residential school system. And now they're telling those very same minorities that they have historically abused and literally tested on, shut up and do what we tell you. It's terrible.
And if I can add, a piece of, people don't know, but it was in the 1980s. This was the last year they actually had still segregated schools for black people in Canada. People aren't aware of that. So there's a lot of stuff that the media and the government want to hide from people, but if you can actually have the time to go find these stuff in books, you got to find the books first of all. But there's a lot of history, and history makes a lot of stuff. It makes your education, it makes you who you are. And even I talked about my better half, my wife, but in my case,
I speak louder
right,
than the horns.
So I have a first cycle doctorate in my line of practice, and I'm a healthcare worker, and I almost lost my job for vaccine decisions. Now, as my line of work deems me to be, I have to be evidence-based. I have to have an evidence-based practice. So we do have the training to understand and read a lot of scientific stuff, yet I am strictly allowed media, family, social, and also internet media, everything I have to say has to come out of my line of competency, which basically means I can't even discuss to you about the color of a lawn chair. If not, someone might say you're out of your line of competency. And this is the type of censorship that a lot of healthcare workers are facing. And people aren't aware. They think it's not okay, or they think, no, it doesn't exist, not the right. We have emails.
Oh yeah, no, well, okay, and if you want,
Yeah,
what's
go ahead.
What's your name?
Jason.
Jason, nice to meet you.